Inside of today's video, we're going to be going through every single gear in the game and giving you guys 5 or 6 brawlers which you definitely need to equip that gear on. There's a coin shortage right now, so all of these upgrading tips should hopefully help you guys out. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so first we're going to be having a look at the speed gear. So one of the best gears in the game, probably the second best gear in the game right now. You guys know the business with the speed gear. It's just insane, of course, literally everywhere except for a few maps. I'll go into that in a little bit, but in terms of best brawlers then, so the first one going to be Tara. Tara's always been insane with his speed gear. Of course, with a brawler like Tara, the closer you are to people, the more damage you're going to deal. So speed gear is really going to help you with that. But not only that, you know, you really use Tara on maps, you know, like Undermine, like in the gameplay, double swoosh, where there's just a lot of grass. So of course, speed gear is going to play well with her. Ems as well, same type of brawler as Tara, really used on the grassier maps, and just being able to sneak around much quicker with speed gear is definitely really strong. Crow is actually really insane with the speed gear combined. You might think, like, he already has fast movement speed, but why not just give him insane movement speed? The faster the brawler is, the better they're going to be in reality, so you may as well just up the ante a little bit, give him that speed gear, he just becomes even more insane. You know, Ash as well, again, another brawler you might say, well, he gets his rage, he gets extra speed anyway, but you got to remember, you're not always raged up with Ash, so the extra speed in the grass, again, you're going to use him in grassier maps. That's going to help him out a lot. And then you've got Buster and Rosa as well, so basically any tank really, but literally every single brawler you're going to get value out of speed gear with, because there's only a few maps where you don't need speed gear on, and I'll go into that right now. So Shooting Star, of course, not many bushes there. Super Beach, all of the heist maps, Jordan Beetles and Bell's Rock. So these are the main ones in the Power League rotation where you will not need the speed gear, but everywhere else, speed gear is just going to be insanely broken, basically on everyone, but in particular the brawlers I mentioned. Okay, so going on to the next gear and the best brawlers for it, it's the vision gear, and I actually think the vision gear is the best gear inside of the game. You know, Zeta, when they won World Finals, they pretty much use vision gear on every single brawler, even sharpshooters. So ever since then, vision gear has just been so incredibly strong. They've really brought it to light even more. But anyways, vision gear is like speed gear, of course. On every grassy map, you want to be using the speed and the vision gear combination just because of how strong it is together. Like, vision gear helps to counter speed, but of course just helps to counter any brawler inside of a bush. But anyways, the best brawlers for the vision gear then. So of course, Jean is the #1 brawler for it. So I think the only brawler in the game, really, in my opinion, which you definitely need the vision gear on, or just any gear on, is Jean. It's going to help him out so much. It's just completely made for him. You guys probably know that already. I always use vision gear and mythic gear on Jean, by the way. That's a better combination. But also the vision gear, you know, is particularly better on brawlers that have a really good spread of attacks, or just multiple pieces of ammo, pieces of bullets or whatever else, you know, like Jean, Pam within their ammo. So, you know, brawlers like that, like I mentioned, Otis as well, you know, he has 4 shots per ammo, so he's going to be able to, you know, at least get intel with one of his ammo a lot more regular, and that's why the vision gear is just better on those brawlers. Spike as well, of course, his curveball is just going to be really easy to hit in particular, so you're always kind of guaranteed to hit someone in the grass, so that vision gear is going to be really strong for that. Lola and Janet as well. So Janet, you know, might feel like isn't a brawler that you want to use a vision gear on, but trust me, whenever I use a vision gear on Janet, it just feels absolutely insane. So in terms of best maps as well, literally the exact same as I mentioned before on the speed gear. Literally there's only probably like 6 or 5 maps which you don't use the speed gear on, and the same with the vision gear. But maybe you can use vision gear on maps like Jordan Beetles perhaps, where you don't want anyone kind of sneaking in that middle grass bit, but overall vision gear is just so strong on pretty much every single brawler except for tanks. So next up, we're moving on to the damage gear. So the damage gear used to be the best gear in the game, but since its nerfs and also just vision gear coming a lot more popular, it isn't used as much, but still on those non-grassy maps, so just in general, you can always get value out of the damage gear. You can literally every single map and situation, it's pretty viable. So the best brawlers for it, so the first one's going to be Bull. So the main reason why Bull is the best brawler to put the damage gear on is because Heist is by far his best game mode, but of course damage is the name of the game in Heist, so that extra DPS, the way you just play Bull, it just benefits off the damage gear so well. Next up, B, because her 3k shots, the charge shots, they go from 3k to 4k, so of course that's a really good combination. Next up, Gus. So Gus doesn't have the best DPS, so giving him any bit of increased damage is really going to help him out and turn into like a secret slayer. You know, I feel like especially when I play Gus, I just get a lot of damage off with the damage gear and also the star power. Next up is Grom. So just any throw in general is going to get a lot of value in comparison to other brawlers with a damage gear, because you can easily stay behind a wall away from the enemies and just keep that threshold, that damage gear active and then just deal a lot of damage, especially some brawlers which you really need the extra damage with, like Barley, for example. But main one is Grom, because Grom just deals so much damage, so give him that damage gear as well. He's gonna just melt every single person with the X Factor star power as well, which is so strong overall. And then lastly, Sam. So again, just any tank in general, because of course they're going to be having a lot more HP when that damage gear pops than any other brawlers. So in general, everyone's good with the damage gear. And in terms of map sense, so it's like the opposite to the speed gear and vision gear. So I've gone with Shooting Star, Super Beach, basically all heist maps, because of course you would just want to get as much damage as possible. Open Zone and Bell's Rock, so those are going to be the best maps for the damage gear. So now moving on to the health gear. So I really actually like the health gear on a lot of different brawlers, but most of the time there's always a better option, especially on grassy maps. Never want to switch off speed and vision, whilst health gear is only really good on the maps that like shield and damage are good on. But anyways, the high HP brawlers are of course going to get such good value with the health gear, so that's why the likes of Bonnie, for example, are just so good with the health gear. She has so much HP, and of course you want to be going back to full HP as quickly as possible, so then you can use your super and just get so much value and get so much damage on the field in conjunction. It's just such a good synergy, the health gear with Bonnie. And of course Frank's going to be insane. He has the highest HP in the game, so of course the health gear is just going to heal up so quickly and just gain so much health points back. And next up we have Carl. So Carl, I actually think is a pretty underrated one for the health gear, because you know, it may not seem like Carl has the most HP in the game, but for like an assassin, health gear is really good, because you want to keep up the pressure, and of course that health gear is going to allow you to get back into the fights much quicker. And I just really love it with Carl, and I feel like a lot of people do use the health gear on Carl. It's definitely a really underrated gear for him. Of course, I've already mentioned Bonnie Primo as well. I really like using the health gear on Primo, especially in heist, because again, I want to be keeping the aggression, so anytime I've got like breathing space, I can heal up as quickly as possible and get back to trying to deal as much damage to the safe. And then lastly, BB. So basically any tank's going to be good with the health gear. A few underrated ones as well, the likes of Lou, for example, and also Max. I do actually really like the health gear on these brawlers to keep the aggression. And lastly, for the gears then, we have the shield gear. So with the shield gear, it's basically like the damage and health. You want to be using all three of those in conjunction on the same type of maps. I mean, grassy maps, of course, the speed and vision. But anyways, shield gear, you may feel like some brawlers, you might actually be mistaken that the shield gear is actually really strong on. So for example, the Buzz, on Buzz, shield gear is actually pretty strong on Buzz. The main reason being is because with those assassin brawlers like Buzz and Fang, basically you're going to be launching yourself across the map a lot of times as well. You might actually end up dying before you actually hit the opponent or stun the opponent, so the shield gear just gives you that extra safety net. But not only that, those type of brawlers, you're going to end up just suiciding in over and over again, just getting constant pressure. A lot of times you're not like pinching the opponents, not trying to stay alive. You just want to cause as much pressure and chaos as possible, so you're going to end up dying a lot. So of course dying, you get the shield gear, you know how that works. So of course Fang as well, really good with the shield gear. Spike is another one, because of how squishy he is, he often gets destroyed, so the shield gear really helps him out. But not only that, there's a few matchups in the game, like for example Mandy, where you really need the shield gear on, or basically any brawler below that threshold. If you're facing off against a Mandy, by the way, you want the vision gear on, because she's going to be able to one-shot so many of you. So Spike is a good example for it. Basically anyone below how much damage she does with her super, which is 3,750, you want the shield gear on against her. So just a quick tip on that one. But yeah, also he gets two-shotted by Mandy's main attack, so you definitely want the shield gear against her. Next up, Mortis as well. Mortis, you don't really benefit off any other gear really, maybe speed sometimes, but damage and shield always for him. And of course he's an assassin, so shield gear is really going to help him out. And then the last one is Tick, because of course he's the lowest HP brawler in the game, so any extra HP is really going to help him out. Next up, on the more rare gears, we have reload gears. So it's only on a select 3 brawlers, but reload gear, if I've not mentioned, I literally use it on every single brawler pretty much all of the time, unless it's some insanely grassy map, then I need to use speed and vision. But overall, reload gear is just pretty much the best gear in the game, one of the best gears in the game. Just helps in every way, and you get value pretty much all of the time, so I advise using reload gear on every single brawler. And lastly, for the gears then, we have the super gears. So super gear is pretty weak except for on a few brawlers. So the brawlers they want to be using the super gear on are Nanny, Sprout, and Lou off the top of my head, because they change some really important interactions. For example, Lou normally takes 7 shots to get his super. With his gear, it takes 6. The main reason why that's good is because he only needs 2 ammo instead of 3. and you can quickly cycle a couple of supers if you're really accurate with Lou. Same goes with Nani. You'll only need to hit 2 pieces of ammo, I believe, to get a full super. This just really helps with chaining Nani's supers, of course. You can deal so much damage with them. And then the last one, Sprouts. So Sprouts, his changes from 5 hits for super to 4, which of course, the more walls, the more dangerous you're going to be with Sprouts. So every other brawler, I feel like you don't really need the super gear on. Doesn't help them really at all. Alright guys, it's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. So in terms of the mythic gear as well, I feel like the only brawler you don't need it on is Sandy. Everyone else, the mythic gear is pretty strong on, but overall, these are the best, well, for every single gear, the best few brawlers to put that gear on. But overall, you can't really go wrong with a lot of different situations. You know, for example, shield gear, you want to use all the time in knockout. And then, of course, it just matters on the map and mode. But it's pretty hard. With the shortage of coins, you've got to be really select on which gears you put on certain brawlers. You know, I feel this a lot on my free-to-play account. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.